we just trying to stay positive right now. You know, we just been trying to have great energy and not let that game affect us moving forward. Because, you know, we got other big games coming up that we got to prepare for.
How hard was it to go back to kind of what was once friendly territory, now enemy territory for you?
It was quite fun. A little emotional. You know, that's a school that I played for 2 years, and where I you know, created a lot of bonds with people over there. But you know, it was fun. I was looking forward to that game. You know, for a long time, and you know, we didn't get the result we wanted, but you know, just being back there in that environment felt good.
Is there something to be said about getting that one behind you, knowing that that was one that was kind of built up for you emotionally? Now we can kind of put the narratives and storylines and all that stuff to the side, and we can focus on, you know, the rest of the SEC.
I guess so. I mean, we can't, you know, do nothing about it, but you know, fans, they still gonna keep talking about it. You know, that's what they do. But we just gonna focus on the next game and the next game and in the next game. You know, we could do nothing but move forward at this point. So.
What's the early stuff you feel like you've learned from that Alabama game? Because probably nobody else in the SEC probably has a pace like that you can play for the rest of the year.
I didn't learn something that I didn't know already, but it was just the attention to details. I feel like we could have emphasized that a lot more in the scout, and you know, some of the plays that they were doing, or some of the off-end movements, the peel to a flare. I feel like we could have studied it a little more and emphasized it more. And yeah, I think that would have been a major difference in the game.
Coach Oates talked about just when the ball gets inside, that it kind of the passing out from, you know, you hear that feedback. What did you think of it, knowing that was your former coach, kind of giving general front court feedback for you guys?
That's just the kind of guy he is. He's just, you know, he's super intelligent when it comes to like knowing basketball, and you know, he does his research a lot. Probably, you know, one of like better than a lot of people in the country. Like that's what he does. But you know, I didn't know that, honestly. I was kind of, you know, surprised hearing that and everything. But I think him saying that allowed us to, you know, see what we could work on better from, you know, the post scoring and all of the options from there.
What was the most frustrating part of the film once you guys broke it down over, you know, getting back in town and kind of regrouping after the weekend?
The most frustrating part was seeing that we could have did better at the scouting report, because it felt like they was doing the same thing over and over, and just thinking like we could have did a lot better, you know, on the defensive side with the attention to detail and the personnels. We should have took it more seriously.
Over that 11-day break, do you feel like it was almost too long of a break, or like when you got back out on the court, there was maybe like, you know, you had to catch up to speed a little bit?
Nah, I don't think it was too long of a break. I think it was much needed for us. You know, me personally, I was out with the flu that week. You know, that week leading up to the game, so I came back to practice like 2 days before the game, I think. So I was out for that week for real. But you know, it was much needed for our bodies and our minds and stuff. You know, to get that break.
How are you turning the page toward Missouri? What have you learned about them? What was some of the early scout on the Tigers?
We just gotta bring the energy from the start of the game. You know, they're a good shooting team. You know, we plan to be there on the catch. You know, limit their 3-point shots, and you know, play physical, get on the glass. You know, try to win the rebounding game, and limit they shooting. So that's kind of been the thing going into this game.
The result obviously was what it was, but to get through a full Jaland Lowe game, totally healthy, you got to see him kind of at his best.
Yeah.
Just how good did that feel to kind of have your PG1 out there?
It felt great. I think Jaland, he's becoming more and more comfortable the more he play. And I think he's gonna start. The more he play, it's gonna make us more comfortable in the offense and with how we play. And I think he's probably our biggest contributor when it comes to that. So, once he get it rolling, we all gonna get it rolling with him. I feel.
Fans obviously make a massive deal about the starting lineups and who needs to be playing, and Jaland needs to be in, and what about JQ? Do players care as much about that? Because I feel like coaches kind of minimize that, not just Pope, but just in general. The coaches don't necessarily see the starting lineup as that big of a deal.
I think players, like, as long as they're on the court, when they feel like they need to be, when the game is like on the line and stuff, and if they're able to play enough to where they can impact the game, they wouldn't care as much. But a guy like Jaland, he's our best point guard, so I love to see him on the court with me. JQ also, he's like, he's still finding himself a little bit. He been out for like 9 months. He's still finding his confidence a little bit. He's still finding his way through the offense. But I think he's figuring it out. I think he's gonna figure it out. So I feel like if we allow those guys to like play a little more and stuff, it's gonna build the momentum of the team. It's gonna look like what people been imagining.
What advice do you give Jaden, knowing, like, we saw the highs of St. John's and just how he looked like the lottery pick that we all thought he would be, and then kind of, inconsistency against Bellarmine, and just kind of a little bit of a down performance this most recent one. How do you kind of teach him about the highs and lows that kind of come with this?
You said Jaden?
Jaden, yeah.
You're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, but you got to stay consistent to what you do. That doesn't change your routine, your preparation and stuff. That doesn't change. You can't control how many shots you make in the game, but you can control your effort. So just stay with it. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, the good days gonna overlast the bad days.
What kind of game changer can he be at his absolute best for this front court?
Rim protecting, lob threat, switchable, 1 through 5 big, intimidating. I think once he really start, playing his game the way he's fully capable of doing. We see it in practice, all the time. I think it's going to be a threat to a lot of teams.
That two big lineup, what do you like about it? What is it? Is it uncomfortable? Do you guys feel like you guys work well together, not just with you and Jaden or whatever, but just kind of all of the combinations that we've seen?
It's something we had to get used to, because we kind of switched the offense, halfway into the first half of the season, so it's kind of something that's new for us. So, it's something I never played with. I never played that style before, so. I'm just, we all kind of getting used to it. We all adjusting to where we have to be on the court at the same times. How can we make it work for each other? That's been the thing. How can we make it work for each other? And it's just something we're gonna have to get used to. That's the offense that we've been playing so far. So, yeah.
Mo, I apologize if you've been asked this already, but we asked Jaland as well. What does this team need to do to maybe make the ball stick a little bit less, to kind of make some more plays for teammates?
I think we just, like, we got a new offense, just now, and I feel like we just got to get a little more comfortable with it, and just make plays for the teammate, make plays for the next guy, and when guys start, knowing their roles a little better, and you know, I think it's going to be better. Yeah.
And with that, you know, you don't want to overreact to one game. Obviously, you know Coach Oates very well. He's a very good coach.
Yeah.
He made a big point of emphasis after the game to talk about how you guys don't really, once you pass it down to your bigs, there's not as much passes back out. Is that something you guys have talked about, working on adjusting going forward, or is that just, you know, it was a rough game, we're going to try to do our system a bit better next time?
We're just trying to better our system, honestly. You know, it's a new offense that we've been playing, so you know we just been trying to figure out, you know, how can we make it work for each other? You know, where can we be on the court at the same time to where it's not going to affect your scoring or the spacing? So we just been trying to figure it out a little bit, like, you know, and you know we've been practicing it a lot, so you know hopefully it'll get better as far as that.
I'm sure you were asked this before, but how are you feeling heading into the game? How do you think you performed? How do you think you handled everything? And then did any of your former teammates give you a hard time after the loss?
I was really excited going into that game. I've been looking forward to that game all year, and I feel like the game could have been a lot better. You know, if we had made more of an emphasis on the scout, and you know. The way they played, I was kind of expecting that in a way because, you know, I played for Oates in Alabama. So I was expecting, you know, a lot of threes, a lot of, you know, flare screens and stuff going into that game. But I feel like we could have emphasized that more, you know, being on the catch and knowing that they're isolation team, you know, being in the gaps early to build out. I think there's a lot of things we could have done better. And as far as me, I think I could have impacted the game more. I had a mismatch on me the whole game. I felt like I could have been more dominant there. Yeah, it was just the game was just going really fast, and like, you know, we was just like trying to stop the bleeding, but like it was just, you know, we could have did better in-game adjustments. You know, when they started making all those threes, and I think it was a lot that we could have done better for this game. Yeah, it's more than one thing.
How are you feeling physically? It looked like maybe you were kind of limping off the court there the last time you came off the court.
Yeah, I had bad cramps on my right calves. It was just inconsistent cramps, which is why I wasn't, you know, playing that much for the second half. But yeah, I'm doing better now. It was just something I couldn't really control at the moment.
Have you dealt with that much in the past?
No. I don't really have a history of cramping that much. But it was unusual. Because I was sick that week leading up to the game. I was out with the flu. So I don't know if that may be the reason why I cramp, because I don't usually have a cramp.
What do you know about Missouri, and what's it going to take to get a win tomorrow?
I know that they're a good three-point shooting team. They play physical. I think we gotta, you know, limit their threes. You know, make them take more twos. Run them off the line. You know what I'm saying? Win the rebounding battle, and play more physical than they do.
There was a spot kind of late in the first half of Saturday where you and Jaland kind of got into it on the court and then had a conversation over on the bench. Just can you kind of take me through that and kind of the back and forth there?
It was just a lot of emotions in the game at the time, you know. Like, he know how much I wanted to win that game, and, you know, but I was just trying to tell him, you know, I got a mismatch on me. Just try to find me. Keep trying to find me. I got the mismatch on me. I know that's my friend. I know he couldn't guard me down there, so, like, I was just, you know, just trying to, you know, let him know, like, just look for me, bro. Like, I'm open a little bit. And, you know, he said he got me, he gonna find me. But it was a lot of emotions. And it looked like we was really arguing, but, you know, that's just how we communicate a lot. Yeah, we talked it out. So yeah.
How much of that do you think is, like, the more game reps you guys get? I mean, obviously Jalen's been in and out, you've been in and out. JQ hasn't played until the last week or so. Just how much of that do you think will get kind of ironed out over time, the more you guys play together?
I think it's going to get better. I think because we haven't played with each other as much. Especially in practice, like, we haven't played with each other that much. We did in the summertime, but, not in games. So, but like the more I play with Jaland, the more our chemistry is gonna grow, and especially with the new offense, like I haven't played with him much in this new offense that we playing in. So in a matter of time, we're gonna start learning each other better, and yeah.
That's good.
Good.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Is there maybe a difference in your mindset or how you feel depending on how you start or come off the bench, or is it all the same?
No, that's something I've come to try and realize this year, is just to try and keep the mindset the entire time. No matter if I start, come off the bench, I feel like if you have the same mindset no matter what, then you'll be able to produce.
I know Pope talked about still messing with the starting lineup. Have they talked to you more in recent days about moving into the starting lineup, or has that even come up at all?
No, I don't talk about it with them. That's their own decision.
Just how's your shoulder feeling day-to-day basis? Kind of how are you managing that for yourself?
It's the best it can be. Just where we're at right now with, different mishaps and still trying to play with everything. But it's feeling really good. I just say that I just hate wearing a brace. That's all I can say.
Other than wearing the brace, what's been the most difficult part of kind of getting back into the flow and getting back on the court?
Just probably the mental game. Just knowing that even in practice, it's a risk. Playing a game, it's a risk. And then just, having to, come back from so many missed games, not being able to play the exact same way that I've been playing in the summertime and things like that. And then losing doesn't help. So I always want to be out there with my guys and playing. So mental game is probably the one I got to work on the most.
As a pass first point guard, as you mentioned in the summer, why is the team's assist numbers so low against high-level competition?
I think we just need to put guys in certain positions. I know it's my job when I'm out there to put guys in certain positions to, be able to flourish. And, I think that just comes with game planning a little bit better on my end. I watch a lot of film, so, putting guys in right position, putting shooters in right position, putting our bigs in positions to catch lobs, get easy layups, even just get easy post touches sometimes. That's just something I got to do better. And if our coaching staff doesn't see it, then I'll say something more, but I'm pretty sure those guys see it, and they emphasize every day in practice that how we have to move the ball. So that's more on us as players than anything.
Watching back the game on Saturday, what else did you notice?
I just noticed that we didn't play with enough urgency on defense specifically. I felt like we knew the type of players they were. We knew Alabama, and we just didn't come out and execute as well as we wanted to.
Now that you've had about 3 games with everyone available, how much closer do you all feel as a team to finding your all's identity that you really want to be in?
We're feeling closer and closer each day. I just feel like it's just a matter of guys finding a click together. Playing with guys. It's just a lot of reps. That's all you can ask for at this point. It's just reps with guys and practice and game. Once you get reps with guys, you can try to figure things out.
How important are those game reps specifically? Because, obviously you got to practice a lot over the summer, but you didn't get to play with JQ at all. And then once the game started, it's been like 3 halves where you guys have had your entire team. Well, how are the game reps, I guess, different than practice reps, and maybe more important, less important?
I think game reps are the most important thing you can have in anything. I feel like, of course, practice matters for sure, but those game reps, you get an actual live feel of how things are going to go. You get to, make corrections or real life time that is going against a defense that you've never gone against and things of that nature. So I feel like game reps are important, but even in practice, I know I stayed after practice with him yesterday just to figure out some things that we want to do on the pick and roll better, and just figure out some things that makes everybody click.
That was with JQ?
Yeah.
Once you guys do start clicking more and getting on the same page, can you just talk about his talent level and like how nice that will be for a point guard like you?
Yeah, JQ is a beast, and he's eager to learn, and he's one of the most athletic people I've met in my life. So it's going to be amazing once we do click, and we're both trying to figure that out as soon as we can.
What can you tell us about Missouri, and what's it going to take to get a win?
Missouri's very physical. Their length is is really good at each position. So in order to beat them, we're going to have to be able to knock down shots. We're going to have to be able to attack, draw fouls, and then be able to guard the whole game from the tip-off to the last buzzer. We got to be able to guard the entire game and have no lapses of, just getting down too big and having to fight back. I feel like we've got to figure out a situation where, we're at least within a 5-point game the entire time, or we have the lead. I would love that, but we just got to find a way to be able to fight the entire game.
Jaland, this injury, how do you balance between continuing to stay aggressive but also maybe not being reckless with what you do on the court?
How'd you think I did versus Alabama? Think I did pretty good?
Oh yeah, I think you did.
I think I'm doing all right. I'm figuring it out still. It's just, I don't know if y'all will notice on TV as much or in person, but sometimes when you're on the court, you can realize that I'm not doing some things that I would love to do in the moment. Just as a competitor and as a fighter, I can't do some of those things. I have to pull back sometimes just to not put myself at a huge risk.
Is that frustrating for you?
Yeah, it's frustrating, but if I want to play, I got to do what I got to do.
How much are game reps important to that for you personally? Maybe you can't do, you're learning things you can't do the way you normally would, but maybe you can figure out a way to do it a different way as time goes on.
No, yeah, game reps is probably the most important time for me. I even try and practice, like just seeing different ways that I can, protect myself and stay healthy, but game reps are the most important for sure.
Have you seen maybe other teams, I don't want to say attack your shoulder, but maybe make you go right on a screen, or maybe they, maybe box you out, or maybe sometimes wrap their arms? I saw there was like a little, I can't remember when it was in the game, a little situation where you kind of get your arms wrapped up. So have you seen anything different from other teams with the shoulder?
Teams would, it's basketball, and it's just like any other sport. You try and attack something that's, not as 100% as everybody else, and I don't blame them. I just got to figure a way around it.
There was a spot kind of late in the first half where you and Mo were kind of had a conversation on the court, and then you made a point, it looked like, to clear a spot for him on the bench so you could kind of continue that when he came out. Can you just kind of take me through what was going on there?
Yeah, just me and Mo having a conversation about what we thought would work on the court. Just two really close guys, just going back and forth with each other. We're two guys who really want to win, but are very high intensity during the games, and I just wanted to calm down Mo a little bit. I want him to calm me down a little bit, just so we could get on the same page about everything.
Do you think? I think some fans might look at that and say, "Oh, they're bickering or they're battling." Or do you think it's healthy though to kind of work that stuff out on the court as opposed to letting it fester? Or
oh yeah, for sure. It's you gotta know your guys. And Mo, I'm super close with Mo. Me and Mo have a great relationship as far as what we know and what each other act like. So me and Mo, we could probably yell at each other all day, all day and night, and it won't matter because we know our intentions. We know we both want to win, and there's not going to be too many mishaps where we're going to go at each other or anything like that. But we just know that it's all betterment for each other. And as soon as he sat down and we talked about it, we were on the same page and we was all good about it.
Is that kind of an example of maybe when you were out, when you weren't able to play, maybe you couldn't do stuff quite like that? Obviously you're not going to be out on the court with them, but kind of have that conversation, maybe it wouldn't hit the same as it does right now? Yeah,
while I was out, I was struggling to learn how to be like a leader still and still apply myself. So, being able to be back playing and being able to have conversations like that definitely helps a lot more than when I'm out, because, when you're out, you can't really, say too much because you're not battling with those guys.
Missouri's coming off a top 25 win. Just talk about setting the tone early at Rupp.
I feel like that's very important. We've started off slow in a lot of our games, so setting that tone early and at a home game, especially versus Missouri, coming off a win versus Florida, is very important. And that's just something that we've got to find. That's important right now, but we've also got to sustain that for the full rest of the game. But yeah, it's very important that we do.
There are ways that you can, incorporate that before you even set foot on the court, just camaraderie, those type of things.
I think just knowing the game plan and, everybody being on the same just mindset and same physicality at the same time, just imposing our will. Like, at some point you just need guys out there that's going to push somebody first, and we have the guys for that. I think we just come out sometimes just looking for each other or somebody else to do something sometimes, but we all have guys that can take that and be the first guy to do that. And we have 5 guys that will be out there on that court that will be able to do that.
Going back to the practice reps versus game reps, just with you and JQ in particular, I felt like in the second half you all kind of tried to establish some chemistry when you all were working in the two-man game. Just what did you learn about JQ from those game reps compared to maybe the practice reps? Anything different about how you two can work together in that chemistry level?
I know that JQ set some pretty hard screens. I mean, he's a big dude, but that he's just very mobile, and that going forward, depending on who we see, what coverages we see, we know what we both like now. We've communicated that, and hopefully going forward it'll be a liking that I really want to get him involved more, but then also being able to set up things for myself and others.
How did it feel, everyone kind of looks at you as like that passing point guard, but how did it feel to have that point performance and be able to try and start that second half surge and go out there and improve your score as well?
I mean, that's just kind of who I am. As much as I love to pass, if my team needs me to go out there and score, I have no problem doing that. It is not too hard for me to do that. I think it's just I have a great group of guys around me that make it a little bit easier to do that. But at the same time, I know as my job, I have to still get guys open shots and things of that nature. But if my team needs me to score, then I've got no problem doing that.
How are you feeling heading into the game?
Alabama fired up a lot of threes, made a bunch. Just when you were looking on the film, what did you see from your all's defensive perspective on how you were defending those, and maybe the good or the bad on that? I
just feel like we weren't urgent enough to get out to guys that we knew were shooters. I think we didn't communicate loud enough or well enough for each other to all be on the same page. But that's just got to be a discipline thing. And going forward, I'm pretty sure everybody knows we're in conference play now. There should be no surprises what we're doing now, that we've all got to be on the same page no matter what. And it's life or death now. It's SEC play. It's the second half of the season. And we're not doing great right now, as we all know. But we still have plenty of games left, and we know our capability. So we're going to go out there and just play urgent.
You're not even halfway through the regular season schedule still, so do you talk about that, saying like, we're not even halfway through, like we still have a long way to go to figure things out? Does that give you all any confidence and optimism, things like that?
I mean, I know for some guys it might. They look ahead on the schedule and see how many games you have left, but I know some guys who are just, they focus on one game at a time, and they do anything to win that next game. And as far as me, I can only look for one game at a time. Just the way that I'm trying to stay healthy and everything. So I think everybody's trying to get on the same page about, like, let's not look too far. Like, we've got to do what's right in front of us.
Under the game, Nadeau's kind of alluded. He's like, I'm glad we don't play Kentucky later on in the season. What do you think about those comments initially, and do you think it speaks to what you're trying to build for later on?
I think if from coming from a coach like that, it shows that he sees that we have great potential too. And if once we get everybody clicking together, once we find out, I guess just finding out everything together about our clique and our niches together, that we can be really good. I mean, if we know that, but it's cool coming from a coach like that.
Anything else for Jaland? Thanks, guys.